Hello, everybody, and welcome to an exciting episode of CLX Foundry Live. I'm your host, DJ Blue PDX, and joining me right now are the guys who forgot to tell me that it was Wear Your Purple Windbreaker Day, and that is our lead tactical expert, Paul Steffens, and our master builder, Zach Killingsworth. Gentlemen, how does it feel to be matching?
Oh, yeah.
The wind don't stand a chance.
That is accurate. That is accurate. You know what else doesn't stand a chance? Us building another giveaway. Oh! Are we going to do another giveaway? I think we're going to do another giveaway. So, everybody, we're doing another giveaway. We're going to build it today. Here's how the giveaways work for those of you who are brand new to the channel and have never gotten involved so far. First of all, catch up. Second of all, how this works is we're going to do a giveaway, and there's all sorts of different ways you can get involved. To find out more, type exclamation giveaway in the chat right now to get the link to go right there to our webpage and see how you can get started with this. Now, here's the fun part. Sometimes, and I mean by sometimes, I mean all the time, we do code giveaways, and the codes are worth extra entries into our giveaway. I've said giveaway so many times in a sentence it stopped making sense. So the codes can be found in multiple different locations. On Tuesdays, like today, you can find those codes in the Kick chat. That's kick.com/CLX Gaming. On Thursdays, you can find those in the chat on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/CLX Gaming TV. You can also find them on our social media. That is YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at CLX Gaming. And you may also find them in our Discord at discord.gg/ you name it, CLX Gaming. And then, of course, you can find them on my streams, and that's a whole other story. In the meantime, gentlemen, what are we doing with this brand new? First of all, let's talk about the fact that we've got a brand new case that I've never seen before. Paul, let's talk about what's going into it, and then we're going to talk about that case. That case looks really cool.
Yeah, so going inside of the build, we'll start with our processor. So this is an A+A build, so we have an AMD Ryzen 7 7800X 3D for our processor. To cool that, we've got a CLX Quench 360 AIO in black. This is the RGB version. For our motherboard, we've got the MSI B650 Tomahawk Wi-Fi. And for our memory, we have 2 sticks of XPG 16GB 6000 speed DDR5 in black. These do have the RGB heat spreaders. And for our storage, we've got a single 1TB M.2 drive from ADATA. It's the 700 Gold model. You've seen it on the show before. We've used these drives a lot. For our video card, we've got Asus RX 7800 XT. Very excited to get that out. It is the dual version. Really like the way that cooler looks on top of there. And for our case fans, we've got 6 of our Game DS Aeolus M2 fans in black. These are the RGB fans and have the RGB ring around them. For our power supply, we've got the Game DS 750 watt Kratos M1. This does have RGB on it as well. And last but not least, we have our XT View case. This one is in black, obviously, but we do offer it in white. This will be my first time actually looking inside one of these. I know, Zach, you've built a few of these recently, so I'm excited to get in it and see what it's like.
I'm super jazzed. We got T.I. Robin down there over on the Twitter side. Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Good to see you. On the green side, obviously, we've got our friends of Danny Butts here, the Larist, Kid Bimo, and Carrot Boy. Hi, country. Hello. Welcome in. Glad to have you here. Gaming Dad, obviously. Big hugs. Welcome to the show. Joey Wheels. We'll get to that in just a second over on the purple side. Firecrackers here. Queso Goblin. Hello, my darling. Deed of Temperance, obviously. Always in it. Always in it. Koi Shroud Scarlet. I'm not even sure what that means, but yes. Yes, possibly, probably, perhaps. On the red side, we are live. And, of course, we've got our feeds over here on Facebook and TikTok. I had to look at which ones I was going for. Now, Paul, this is your first time with the case, so I'm going to ask Zach, what are some really cool features about this case, dude, since you've worked with it before?
Yes, this case does have quite a bit of cool features that Fantex usually puts into all of their cases. Let me get these last 2 screws, and then I will turn it around and show what I'm talking about. I am talking about storage.
Storage? Okay, let's take a look.
Yes, we do have quite a bit of storage options. We can mount lots of SSDs here. Then down here in the bottom, right here, we do have a removable tray and we can hold a hard drive, actually 2 hard drives on it, or we can hold a hard drive and a SSD.
So one hard drive in the little tray and one on top?
Yes, one
Nice.
on top.
Interesting. I dig it. Which is a little bit different than like our 3/4 and 2/3 builds. So this is going to be very much on the back. How much space do we have back there for cable management?
We do have a couple good lines that we can run through. We can see where they have stuff kind of set up right now. It is a pretty nice layout for a case. We do have some good spots for lots of fans, lots of options for fans. So
Awesome.
I'm really digging this light right here.
Yeah, does that light up?
Built-in light, yeah, it does.
That's gonna be awesome.
That's nice that
That's
it's all
gonna be
built
awesome.
in too.
Absolutely. Speaking of things that are nice and built in, I'm gonna say if you have questions, you hear something that you're not familiar with, please feel free to ask. That is our job and our joy to answer all sorts of geeky technical questions for you. Robin says the background is good. Yes, good PC.
sorry.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, you're good.
Great PC. We've got so many amazing pieces.
Like
Oh
the
my God,
Matrix
there's the
there.
case back there.
We got
This
two
is
of them
that case
behind
back
us.
there.
Yep, we got the white one in the back, and then we've got our black one off to the side.
Heck yeah.
I believe you built both
That
of those,
looks
right?
so
Zach?
good.
I think so.
Thank you, Robin, over on Twitter for that. And Robin's like, hello, pay attention, kiddo. All right, got it.
And then
I feel like I'm looking downhill.
some cool stuff with it is we do have a Type C and a USB Type 3 on the roof. So
Nice.
pretty nice connectors on the outside of the case. And then as Paul mentioned already, we do have that sweet RGB light strip right there. And then that is a really good angle that you can tell. But we do have a pretty well graded power supply shroud. And then all of this down here is see-through mesh as well.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's got to be great for cooling. My gosh. Wow. That's actually kind of brilliant. I mean, when you think about it, because now you've got built-in venting all the way through the entire system.
Yeah, and down here it looks like there's screws for fans. Is that
Yes,
right, Zach? So
correct.
you could put
you
fans
could put
on the
fans
bottom
in-
of there. That would be
Yes,
pretty
they
cool.
do.
Underneath? Like,
They do.
Would those go underneath or on top?
It would be on top of the shroud here. They screw down into it, so
like
they would
that.
suck air up.
Kind of like an 011 or something.
again,
Yeah, I
kinda
like that.
Kind of like
genius.
raised floor.
And since this is mesh, it's going to get plenty of air in from this side.
Yes,
Yeah, I
it
like
is
that.
a very breathable
That's cool.
case.
That is brilliant. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
We'll have to wait till someone orders one of these and maxes out the fans. to
Right.
see that. That'd be great.
Let's see here. King Douglas. First of all, El Presidente. Bienvenido. King Douglas. Ayo, them hoodies are sick.
Thank you.
When you all
They
gonna
are
get
sick.
Paul some fly gloves? Yes. Good question.
These are gloves.
Excellent question.
They're invisible gloves.
Cleaned mine and my boyfriend's PCs from dust. Now my lungs are full of dust, but the PCs are running like new. Well,
Worth.
rub some dirt on it and walk it off. I'm just kidding. Please don't rub dirt on your lungs. I will tell you what we also are not going to rub dirt on is our motherboard. Now, for the motherboard, we've got a Pro B650p Wi-Fi from our friends over at MSI. Now, here's the fun thing about this. Let's take a look at this the IO Shield, because it actually has some incredible connectivity at the very top. We've obviously got our HDMI and our LAN port. We've also got clearly our flash BIOS button very top. Down below that is our 2.5 gig LAN plus. We've got a USB 3.2 Gen 2 10 port. And then below that, we've got a USB 3.2 Gen 2 by 2. That's 20 gigs on the C. Above that is another 3.2 Gen 2. Then you've got 4 USB 3.2 Gen 1s in the blues. Now, lots of people thought that, that's just USB 3. Nope, 3.2 Gen 1. You've got your Wi-Fi antennas, and you've got your full array of audio sockets, which is fantastic. It's a great motherboard. I think this is it's got a lot of potential and opportunity. So, yeah. Ta-da! Now, I remember us getting a question. Just making sure I didn't miss any questions in the process of things. We ride. Welcome in on the red side.
Hello.
So we got a question. This is a question. Cooler Master Fans X Water Block All Corsair RAM Seasonic Titanium Power Supply. I'm not sure what that means. But I will say this. Anybody who wants a +1 over on the green side, you got yourself a code. It is plus. That is PLUS -1s. That's ONES. Spelled out. If I have to tell you phonetically how to spell +-1s, I'm going to be disappointed. Papa Lima Uniform Sierra - Oscar November Echo Sierra. There we go. Now, as we're going into this, we got to have something to power this thing by, and that is going to be with our processor. We had somebody talk about they love AMD Ryzen processors. Well, guess what? This is an AMD Ryzen. It's a Ryzen 7 7800X 3D. Now, this is an octa-core processor. These are gorgeous. I love the fact that they've stayed true to the square. Paul, what are some really amazing features and elements of this processor?
Yeah, so probably the most unique thing about this processor is that 3D on the end of the name there. So that means that AMD's new technology, they've created a way to stack the cache vertically on top of the CPU die. So it's that's where the 3D comes from. Bigger surface area means more cache, which is always great. But other than that, this is an 8-core, 16-thread processor. Got a base speed of 4.2. We'll boost up to 5.0. Really good processor for gaming here. Really solid.
Yeah. Okay, now we're going to get our cooling for this. Now, for the cooling, we're going to be doing, obviously, a liquid cooler. We love liquid coolers. We have a CLX Quench 360 ARGB AIO in black. Paul, what is, for those who might not know, what's an AIO? How does it work, and how does it differ from other forms of cooling?
Yeah, so AIO stands for all-in-one. That's what you see Zach screwing in right now. So this thing comes out of the box ready to go. This is obviously the radiator right here, and then going into our pump there. So this comes with coolant already inside of it, so you don't got to do anything. Typically these AIOs are going to come with a few different sets of hardware. You grab the one that matches your motherboard socket, like Zach's doing right now, and once you got that, it's pretty easy to install. They all kind of have their own ways of doing it, but they're all pretty easy. Great way to cool your processor and not doesn't take a lot of labor.
Yes. Okay, now we're getting all that in there and on there. Now, what are the other ways that you can actually cool your system?
Yes, you can go with the standard air cooler. Some processors out of the box will come with just a stock air cooler. That's typically just a block of metal with fins cut into it and a fan on top. Those are fine for what they come with. The AIOs are definitely going to perform better than the stock cooler. But if you want to stick with air cooling, there's a ton of aftermarket options that are really good that can keep up with the 120 AIO.
Nice. Oh, yeah, I should have probably stopped doing that. My housemate and I went to the farmer's market that happens down the road down the street from us. And so I have what is, well, it looks like they're being transported to the Enterprise. Wow, interesting. A bucket of blueberries.
Ooh.
We got blueberries and blackberries and beets and then sweet corn. We tore through that sweet corn and the beets last night. We barbecued them. Yeah.
Ooh.
Have you ever done barbecued beets? I hated beets growing up. Hated beets growing up. And they had regulars and goldens just because I'd only known beets as like this cold thing. Aside from it, and even during the holidays, I was just like, not necessarily my thing. However,
I've ever eaten beets, like ever.
Okay, so here's the thing. If you have an oven or a grill, you can do it either way. Put them on for like at about 400, 450 for 45 minutes. What you want to do is take tinfoil, right? Make yourself a little bucket, right?
Okay.
You're gonna quarter them up, chop them into pieces, lay them down on there in oil, right? And you're gonna put it in. I think my stream froze. You're gonna put it in oil, and then. Well,
it seems similar to potatoes.
Yes. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put like olive oil on the bottom, not a whole ton, but just like a good amount, so that everything is at least got the bottom submerged in oil. Heavy. We do a lot of salt and like Himalayan salt, and then pepper, and then seal it up at the top. Put it on the grill for like 45 minutes, and then bring it off and let it sit as you cook whatever else you want. Lib's dad says, so anyways, that's how we do it. First time I ever had it, it was incredible. Libby's dad over on the red side says, question, what's the best way to record videos and stream? Is it okay to use the gaming PC, or do I need a 2-PC setup? And what are the best components to use for a setup? Well, Libby's dad, I will, mind if I tackle this one there?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I do a dual PC system. You can do it all on one PC, but you're going to need multiple monitors for that, and understand that part of your resources are going to be taken by the stream as well as the games. You're going to have to figure out what settings you need on the game so it's not causing a decrease in the quality of your stream. Now, if you're looking to do that, or you're looking to bring things in, like say you're coming in from an Xbox or a PlayStation or something like that, you're going to need a capture card. If you're doing a dual PC system, like I have a gaming PC there, and then I have a streaming PC here. So I just realized you couldn't see where I was pointing the second time. The fun thing about that is having a capture card. I personally use all things AverMedia. AverMedia's got some incredible products. Uh-oh. Hello? Am I there?
I hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I personally use AverMedia products, from Elgato, AverMedia. There's a whole bunch of them. Capture cards are great. I prefer internals, not externals, but externals also work exceedingly well, especially with HDMI 2.1. And if you're going to do a single PC, definitely take the financial hit and hit that high-grade capture, hit the high-grade video card, so that you've got enough resources in the back end to get everything taken care of. There you are. Nope.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of memory are you? Randomly accessed?
True.
Ow. All right. Speaking of randomly accessed memory, let's take a look at our RAM. We're going to have two 16 gig sticks of ADATA DDR5 6000 for a total of 32 gigs. The one thing that we've had some people ask, and I've got to make a point of this because of the fact that it's happened multiple times, is the fact that when you first put RAM in a motherboard, those of you who are first building your first computer, you put it in slots 2 and 4. Paul, why?
So the reason why is that's what our motherboard manual is telling us to do. You always want to go with what that motherboard manual says. Now, yes, if your motherboard has 4 sticks of 4 slots for memory, you're 99% of the time going to be using slots 2 and 4. Now, the reason for that is the way it communicates with the rest of the things on the motherboard, and it will just be way faster doing it this way.
We do have a thing coming in from the Toxic Puffy Panda. Oh, by the way, Purple Wizard over on TikTok. What's up, dude? How are you? The Toxic Fluffy Panda says, fans are hard to set up. Been 3 days trying to set them up. What happened? And while you're going to type out what happened, I'll tell you what happened on the green side. Way from the green side, Avery dropped a code, and it's our first big code. It is a SET code, S-E-T. That is Sierra Echo Tango Dash XTVW. That is X-Ray Tango Victor Whiskey. I took me a second to remember what Victor was. Now, one of the great things, and this, by the way, is worth 100 extra entries into the giveaway. One of the great things is we've also got an M.2 for our operating system. Now, this is from our friends at ADATA. It is an ADATA Legend 1 terabyte, 700 gold M.2 NVMe SSD. Now, Paul, that doesn't look like the, what you think a hard drive looks like. You think it's like this little box thing. Why is that?
Yeah, these are the M.2 solid state drives. So very small. We call them a stick of gum. Pretty much that size right there. These you can get a lot of storage on these, and it is crazy fast. So if you're coming from like a traditional 3.5-inch hard drive, which I hope nobody is still using one of those as their main drive nowadays, but if you are, these are insanely faster than that. So yeah, it's just a great way for storage. I like the M.2s because there's no SATA cables to run or anything. You just put it in like Zach did, put a screw in, and you're good to go.
Let's see here. So for those of you who are wondering what this costs, let me copy that link. Because I had some questions down here over on the Twitterverse. I'm going to send you this link right here. And that is going to just click on that. You'll be able to go right over to the page that has that on it. And of course, if you want to know more about the giveaway, type exclamation giveaway, just like Barge did over in the purple side. Hello. Let's see here. Bad Seed, hello. Yes, this is our giveaway PC. I'm loving it. This is going to be really fun. It's also my first time ever experiencing this case, which is super cool. Expectation Met on the green side says, I have a 420 millimeter radiator with 3 intake fans mounted on the front of my mesh case. Can I move the fans to the back of the radiator in a pull configuration without reducing airflow?
Good question.
Good question.
So, number one, yes, you can put those on the back of the radiator in a pull configuration, like you said. It will reduce the airflow through that radiator. Obviously, you know, the fans themselves are going to be still blowing the same inside that case, but it is going to reduce the amount of airflow through that radiator by having them set up that way. Now, if you want to do it, you still can. I don't think it's going to really affect your performance that much unless you're already seeing, you know, your CPU get really hot and it needs, you know, all the cooling it can provide. So you can definitely try it out. You're not going to hurt anything by doing it. So if you want to do it, go ahead. You might not even notice a difference. So.
Yep. And just to let everybody know what's going on, because I know we've had a couple people talk about some things. So there's a massive storm. There was a massive storm this morning over in Kansas. It's Kansas City, where the studio is, and so we had a massive power loss about 15 minutes before the show started. So if you're seeing some lagging, it's because everything is still coming on in the area, and they're inside of a production facility. So there's all sorts of different systems going on and off. If you're experiencing those kind of things, that's what it is, and we appreciate you letting us know. I know that we've got let's see here. JRL mentioned. Yeah, JRL, I agreed, yes, with Nicole. Definitely call customer service. You know that with the purchase of your PC, regardless of how old it might be, you've got lifetime customer service and tech support. So definitely check that out. I'm sure they can help you greatly. Question coming in over on the red side. Question, what's the best way to record? Oh, no, I already did that. Sorry, never mind. Got your question answered. Let's see here. Was that the last plus code to freeze this freezing? The stream is freezing. The plus code is plus, I believe, -1s. ONES. There we go. And I know that today, let's see here. So now we're getting our system in here. So let's talk about this. This is our first time actually doing this. Zach, when you've got a system where if you've got a system where the board sits almost completely on the back of the case, what's some great practices when it comes to mounting your board and where you're going to put your cabling through?
Yeah, we just want to make sure that we have all of the proper standoffs. Usually ASRock motherboards have a 7th or 10th hole over in this area right here. So we might need to add a standoff to the case for those type of motherboards. But we just want to make sure that we have the right standoffs for our motherboard. And then this is a really nice case, so we do have lots of holes in it for cable routing and cable management. So a lot of the times it is just what goes with the flow, how best you think it will look, and that's usually a pretty good winner.
There you go. Now what you see him screwing into, these are, well, Paul, what are they?
Yeah.
How would you describe these specific? These are very special looking holes.
Yeah, so these screws that the motherboard mounting screws are going into right now, right under that motherboard are standoff. So if we go back to the side from this shot, you can see where Zach's screwing them in that PCB and how it's not exactly on the bottom of the case. And that's because the motherboard's sitting on standoffs. That way it doesn't touch the frame of the chassis and short things out.
And we have had that happen before. Not here. I've had that happen with one of my friends who was trying to build his own PC. And yeah, that was not a great ending to the situation. Zealander asks, what OEM is the AIO?
Yeah, so these are our branded AIOs. And these are from Acetec.
Yep.
Acetec does a lot of the
Acetec.
major brand AIOs. Really, they've always been really solid. I mean, we've been using them for years, and people ask us, what do you do if it leaks? And I'm like, this thing's going to last like 10 years without leaking for sure. So,
Yep. Agreed. I'm really loving this case. I love the baseline for it, and the fact we've still got all of the glass on it, which is fantastic.
yeah, I'm like super hyped on the NV5, but I'm kind of liking this because it's a little bit smaller. And my desk space at home is pretty limited.
Yeah. And I will say this, that so from plug into the motherboard. Yes, I also had that. I had a friend who plugs directly into the motherboard instead of the GPU. That was legitimately the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. She had a 2080, right? She did a 2080. And she was getting maybe, if she was lucky, 45 frames per second on Rainbow Six Siege. And so we're over there trying to troubleshoot it with her. We're like, well, try plugging in a different port. She goes, what other port? What other port is there? Well, there's only one port on the motherboard. You have a graphics card? Well, yeah. Is it plugged into the graphics card? No. Should it be? Oh, God. She plugged it in. She was on Ultra getting at least 150 frames, and we're just laughing. And to this day, we still joke about that. Still, I love it. Tom Walton over on the blue side. I want... Okay, there we go. So you are the OEM of Acetec coolers? That's kind of cool, to be honest. The Acetec pump is really loud and whiny. Well, have you had a conversation with it? I get whiny when I'm tired. See what I did there? Okay, never mind. When is the giveaway? Thank you so much, 124. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you. You can check that out right on from the link above, in between where you spoke. If you take where you type, you'll look at that. It'll say that it has 29 days left, and so far there is just under 1 million entries.
Jeez.
So, yes.
Y'all are in there like
Mondo Blasto. I was fiddling inside my case once long ago with it still plugged in. Oh, God. With it still plugged in, dropped a screw, and it got caught between the case and the sound card. Zzz, dead card. Yep.
Oopsie
that will happen. Yep. Yeah, good. So, Paul, when you need to do some type of fiddling inside your case, what's the best procedure? Let's do a step-by-step for this, and why?
Always have the PC off if you can, depending on what you're messing around with. Maybe you need it on there because you're just trying to see, like, reseat something and see if it turns on right away. But yeah, anytime you can have the PC off when you're working inside of it, that'd be step number one. Unplug it out of the power supply and then press your power button a couple times. Nothing's really going to happen, but that's going to drain out all the remaining power in the capacitors on your motherboard. Just gives you makes it a little bit safer. Then after that, just be careful when you're unplugging and plugging back in stuff.
Agreed. And I know Hot Toasty Buns over here on the TikTok side also said, hey, where can I get more information on this? Well, check out that link that I just posted in the TikTok right there. That's going to take you right on over. It is in 29 days. So we've got a month of codes and streams and things that you're going to love doing. Now, one thing that I love about things that happen with Fantex cases is the fact that they have this fun little thing called Velcro.
Ooh, this one.
Does this case have the Velcro? It does not have the Velcro.
This one.
And I for some reason thought it did, so I'm going to shut up. There we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Mondo and Native Temperance is also right. Make sure you press and hold the power button for 10 seconds after you've turned it off to help with discharging all of any potential electricity gone. I'm about to move into the country where I can't enter giveaway. Into a country. Oh, sad Lolorist. Sad Panda. Choose your parents' address. What are the codes for the giveaway? Well, you're going to have to stick around, be here for our shows. Don't forget, our shows happen every Tuesday and Thursday, starting 11 a.m. Pacific, and that's 2 Eastern, and that is, of course, on all of our platforms. We drop codes on Tuesdays here in the green side. That's .com/CLX Gaming, and of course on Thursdays on the Twitch side, which is twitch.tv/CLX Gaming TV. There we go. Uh-oh. Alrighty.
All right, so getting into the case cables now.
And now, case cables versus the rest of the cables, what's the big difference?
Yeah, so the case cables are everything coming out of the case. So our power button up top, those USB ports, the 3.0, and the Type-C that Zach pointed out, that's what all those are. So typically when we're assembling the PC, we like to, once we get the motherboard in, before we install the rest of the fans, it can be easier to manage all your case cables first, get those plugged into the motherboard and ran wherever they need to go, and then have them bundled up and tucked away. And that way they're not a big mess when we go to do our fan cables and power supply cables.
Nice. Now, Zach, when you're putting together your case cables, obviously we don't have our power supply in yet. What are some best practices for how you want to line these up and where you want to line these up in a case with this kind of design?
Yeah, so like we were talking about earlier with like Velcro and stuff, so depending on what kind of case we have, they will usually have some pretty good layouts with like some eyelets. That's what we have on this case here. And those allow us to have all of our tie downs for all of our cables. So usually just like to go with the flow and kind of walk the cables down as we go and get them all plugged in to maintain order. It's nice just keeping things looking so fresh and so clean if you can.
Oh yeah.
So fresh and so clean. I love it. I love it. Yes, Epic Element. Yeah, the storms were kind of wild. We had a thunderstorm here not too long ago, and we don't really get thunderstorms in Oregon that often, but my God, it was wild. Absolutely wild. It shook the house. It was that nuts.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, I love, like, that was one of the cool things that I definitely loved about living in the Midwest was when I was living in Chicago and when I would visit my grandparents in Texas, was the fact that the storms would shake the houses. Just shake. It was awesome. Let's go. We have a view code. Did I miss one? Oh yeah, we did. We've got another code out. Let's go. It's VIEW. VIEW-WWEE. That stands for W-Wee. That is Whiskey Echo. Check that out. That is going to be worth a total of 50 extra entries into the giveaway. You're gonna love it. I like it.
That's pretty clean. How this is coming through, there's like these nice holes right here, so our 3.0 and Type-C cables are coming in. I like that.
Well, I mean, it is.
And this is where, like you mentioned, Zach, the 2.5-inch drives can go.
Yep.
Just right there. That's pretty cool. Pops out.
Yeah. Okay. I'm really impressed with the versatility of this. Wow. All right, that just pops right off.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
I'll put it back
Let's
on
see.
later.
Okay, you gotta add the dash.
So these go up here. This thing holds it in. Life's good.
Epic Almond mentions that we had a storm here in Kentucky that messes up pretty bad as well. Power went out for a couple of hours, and when it came back on, my router's Ethernet ports have been fried. Ooh, ouch. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. Let's see here. Is this the same as the 40? Is this the same case as the 4090? We've got actually a different cards now. We're going with an AMD, a Radeon card, which is awesome.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and get that out.
Yeah.
Okay. Derek Venables over there. Oh, hello, buddy. What's going on, my friend? Captain Killam. Hello. Good to see you. Let's see. Thelman who asks, hey, I was just about to order one of those off of Amazon. Well, they are a partner of ours, so that's fantastic. I'll say what else is fantastic is the graphics card going into this system, and this is an AMD Radeon RX 7800 XT. Now, this has got some really cool features. Paul, walk us through those.
Let's see. So we're getting out of the box right now. So number one, it's got the dual cooler on there from Asus. Now we've done a lot of their cards that have this dual cooler. I really like it. It looks good, and it's got some transparent stuff. So let me go ahead and get this out. We'll get all the plastic peels off of it and get a better look.
Derek Venable. So those of you who don't know Derek has basically lined his house with CLX PCs, which is incredible. Derek mentions my PC is still too strong. Too strong. I keep getting banned on Warzone from destroying other players.
Nice.
That's when you just type in group chat, lag happens.
Good.
But not for me.
Yeah, good.
All right, now, for a Radeon RX 7800, this is a 2-fan. So how many different variants have you seen of the 7800 XT?
So I think I've seen like 4 different variants of it here, but there is a lot more than that.
Gotcha. Now, with the weight of the card, let's talk about that. How much do you feel like this thing weighs comparatively? Are we going to need an anti-sag, do you think?
Yeah, so this is not a heavy card. We will not need an anti-sag bracket for this one.
Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous.
8-pin
Walk us through this card.
We got 2 8-pin power connectors, which is great. I love that. I'll go ahead and nice looking back plate on here once I can find the got to pick the right corner to peel.
And that's a 78?
7800 XT.
There we go. Oh my gosh. Hashim! Welcome, my dude. Oh, I love the back plate. That looks great. That looks great. Hashim has a great question. He said,
It's a 16 gig.
Does that, for,
16 gig? Yes.
yeah. So for the two of you, Hashim mentions they found a 48 gig 4090 graphics card in China on a server. I think it's a modified 4090 with a 3090 Ti PCB and 8102 graphics unit from a 4090.
That sounds like some Frankenstein stuff right there.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that.
That's a little bit of a yikes. Like, rule number 1.
I would not buy
Works. Don't screw with it. It's like those people who drive down the road in a Nissan Altima and it's just
It's always
sounds
a
horrible.
Nissan
I'm like, you know what,
Altima. It's always
that
an
car
Altima.
didn't make that sound when you bought it, and now it sounds worse. And you spent money on it to drive in an area where it's 55 miles an hour max.
I drive a Nissan, but it's always it's not an Altima.
Nice. I think my favorite sports car I ever owned was the RX-6, a Mazda RX-6.
Oh, nice.
Dude, it was the 2-door turbo, like the sports sedan one.
Mm-hmm.
My God, that thing would it had so much get up and go, it wasn't even fair.
88 Prelude.
88 Prelude, yeah. I had a 96
Dude,
Eclipse
Preludes-
GSX. That was mine.
Preludes have got a life on them for a while. I love that about Preludes.
Preludes always look the best, but I don't know why they put the H22 in them. It's like, just put the good engines in them. Because they look way cooler than a Civic.
James, I'll cut over on the red side.
Like
What's
some
up?
of them have
I had a
four-wheel
thunderstorm and it killed
steering,
2 PCs. Whoa. Okay, so Paul, I'm going to ask a question when it comes to proper things. I have GFCIs on every outlet in my studio, right? And
Okay.
then all the electronics are only plugged into power strips. Like they're rated for 300,000 joules, right?
It's a lot of
So,
joules.
yeah. So is that good protection against the potential for damage should we get lightning or a thing?
Yeah, for
But
sure.
that being said, what are some good practices? What's the best way to keep your equipment from getting damaged during an electrical event?
Yeah, so the thing that I do personally is I always make sure I've got mine plugged into a power strip that's got like a surge protector on it. Most power strips do now. You'll see a little switch. It's basically like a, why can't I think of the name of it now?
Fuse?
Yeah, it's like a fuse circuit breaker.
You mean
Yeah, that.
yeah, that's a GFCI.
Yeah.
Ground fault.
Circuit interrupter. So, but a lot of these power strips have those on them, so I just go from my power strip into the wall. I'm not too worried about it, but if you have those built into your outlets, like how most people do in their bathrooms, I think it's code to require that anytime it's next to a water source. That's just an extra layer of protection there. So I would say, yeah, you're like doubly protected, pretty much safe.
And so Coystrad Scarlet says, I plug mine straight into the wall. You can. Hopefully your house has got a great circuit breaker panel.
Yeah, you can do that.
So-
I would definitely recommend. I mean, power strips are way cheaper than a PC, so I'd look for, like a power strip that's got a surge protection
Hey man,
built
my
in.
power
but-
strip was 14 years old.
Yeah, Zach's got
trust
fried
it.
with it being plugged into one, so
Oh God, that's bad.
sometimes.
It's old.
I've got
That's
again.
like
I gotta
helmets, bicycle helmets. They
Thing
go,
is-
they age.
yeah. I make sure it's 300,000 joule or greater protection. The guy on chat, first time in the purple side. Hi, buddy. How are you? How does AMD's chipset-based RDNA 2 architecture utilizing infinity cache and ray accelerators revolutionize high-performance computing with advanced graphics rendering, ray tracing, and AI acceleration, propelling AMD heat ahead in the competitive semiconductor landscape? I feel like you AI'd that question. Paul, that's a you question.
I would have to scroll up and see that whole thing again to make sense of it, but
Basically, it's how do they do it with the RDNA 2 architecture? And that is definitely a very in-depth question. I'll be very honest. Hugely in-depth. And yeah, also getting a UPS. Well, what is a UPS?
UPS stands for uninterruptible power supply. So a lot of times it's going to look like a surge protector, but a lot bigger because it's just got a giant battery in it. And essentially what they're for, obviously for surge protection, but they're also for if you're doing any work on your PC, it gives you a few minutes of power if your house totally loses power, so that you can save things and shut down your PC safely. They're not made to like run your PC for hours on though.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what backup generators are for. Go Furman.
Go Furman, yep.
Yep, go Furman for sure. Let's see here. Teleporting Zealander says, if I may ask, what is the 4 different codes in the giveaway site? Apologies if it's simple, but I don't get it. So the different giveaway codes, we drop those codes in chat on our green side. That's kick.com/CLXgaming on Tuesdays. On Thursdays, we do it on the purple side. That's twitch.tv/CLXgamingTV. So those would be the 2 places you want to get those codes. I do say them out a couple times. We've also got Deadshot in the house. Let's go. We got to build Deadshot's PC live on stream. That was really fun. How you doing, my dude? How you doing? Okay. My head hurts after hearing that. Yes. Ow. Yes. I'm Blue Feb. I'm going to be honest. Yeah, that's my first thought. Okay, now we've got these all in. We've got that all in. We are going to start by putting in the next piece. That is going to be our graphics card. Now, Zach, everybody's got a different way of doing it. You always lay them down on the back so that you can just drop it straight in. Why is that, and how is that helpful?
Well, like we just went over, computer parts are expensive. So why not the risk out of the reward and have a fully built computer once you put all the parts together? So I like having the motherboard flat, looking directly at the IOs, and then we want to line our PCI slot up. We want to have our retention kit open, and then we want to make sure our little IOs go into those two little slits right there, depending how many IOs we need to remove. And then we will line everything up, and once pushed down, get that little click and reattach.
Awesome. All right, now we've got that in there, and just pull it all the way through. So how are we feeling about whether or not this will need a what's that? Anti-sag bracket. There we go. I'm gonna set a sag bracket, and I'm like, that's not what you want to do.
This is a light card, so we're solid as is.
Sounds good. Now to the next part. Are we ready? Now we've got, for our power supply, we're going to be using a 750 watt AMD Kratos M1. Now this is an 80 plus bronze unit. Paul, can you walk us through the different grades of power supplies?
Yeah, so for our 80 plus rating, essentially we always recommend getting a power supply that at least has an 80 plus rating. Now it does start at a base level of just 80 plus. You'll see a little white 80 plus logo on the power supply if it has that, but most of the ones that you're going to see are going to be bronze or higher. So this is a bronze, and there's silver, gold, platinum, titanium. And what that refers to is the power efficiency of the power supply. So how much power it's pulling out of the wall versus how much it's using. So to get the 80 plus rating, it's got to
Uh-oh. Are we dead? Thing, stay close, and we're gonna blip the stream. We're gonna kill it, start up again. So don't go away. We'll be right back. All right. Well, for TikTok.
I like the riot going on in Kick Chat right now.
I know, right? How we doing there, production? How we doing there, production?